Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexi and today we're doing another pick a card. Today's pick a card, we are taking a look at your imprint. So what I mean by that is when we choose to incarnate, we come through with a specific frequency, and we always talk about when we go through spiritual journeys or we grow and we evolve, we kind of are becoming something, but really we're kind of returning to who we are. And a lot of the times the awakening process, the process where we evolve, we're actually just kind of trimming away the old and clearing the distortions. And I really wanted to tap into who you are at your core and who your human self is at its core and with its most purest frequency, and what you came to evolve into or become or align with, and what frequency you chose to bring through and to share. Basically, when we incarnate into these realities, we are usually here to uplift frequencies, and that happens from within. We align with the frequency, and the more all of us do that, we can uplift the frequencies on earth. So I really wanted to take a look at your frequency and what you're here to do and what your stamp is, and especially because a lot of you that do watch, you're clairsentient, you're empaths, and you incarnate into places where you have to do a lot of shedding and you take on a lot of wounds, and sometimes we can not realize in that chaos really who we are. We get caught up in other people's projections and wounds, and I really wanted to kind of shine the light and a clear light on who you are and tap into that. I thought it would be a really beautiful video to do. So yeah, so I have 4 crystals for you guys to choose from. We have pile number 1. I can't remember the name of this crystal, apologies. If you want to comment, let me know, but this is pile number 1. Pile number 2, we have the Amazonite. Pile number 3, we have the clear quartz, and pile number 4, we have the smoky quartz. So see which crystal you're drawn to. The timestamps are going to be in the description box as usual, and I will see you guys at your timestamps. Hey pile 1, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what your imprint is. What frequency did you choose to incarnate and bring through? So I'm going to start with tarot, and then we're going to move on to your oracle card. So let's get in. Let me just get comfortable. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. Pile 1. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. Tap me into the collective of my pile number 1s. Show me my pile number 1's imprint. Show me the frequency my pile number 1s chose to anchor into this lifetime. Show me the frequency my pile number 1s chose to anchor. We have the Magician and the Hanged Man. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. You come through to other people anyway as an elder, and I feel like you've always had this type of vibration to you. Your soul feels like an elder. Your soul feels like a very, very old soul. I think I said soul about 3 times then, but I feel like in any position that you step into, you come through like an elder, because I feel like I'm listening to you, and I feel like you're passing on information to me. Like there's a very peaceful vibration that I'm tapping into, where I almost feel safe around you, like I almost feel protected around you, but I also feel like you give off like ascended master vibes. That's the way that I'm tapping into you guys. I feel like you guys have a lot of wisdom and a lot of knowledge, and I don't think it's anything to do with like age or anything like that. I feel like even if you were in a group of peers that had that were in the same age range as you, I just feel like you bring a very old soul vibe, because I feel like there's a level of depth that I feel like you would have probably tapped into in this lifetime very young, and that you would have brought through. Some of you guys could have been the oldest of siblings, so you could have had to take look after parents, but I feel like it goes beyond then from a soul level. I feel like in past lives you would have been like leaders, or you would have been like, I feel like I've watched and seen a lot. I don't know why I'm thinking of like in Twilight where they have the Volturi, and the vampires, they live for like years and years and years, so they see human beings come and goes come and go. Like, I'm being shown that, but I feel like I'm in a position of like power. But that's what I'm getting from like past life energy. Like, I feel like I'm in a position of power, or your soul is just seen a lot. I feel like you bring a lot of wisdom to people. And I would say for you guys as well, there's a frequency here that I'm not too it's hard to pinpoint, because I feel like I'm clear, so I can bring information through. So some of you guys may already work with spirit and kind of bridge the realm. Like, you could be mediums, you could bridge the realm of spirit to people and pass on messages from people that have, you know, crossed over. Or you could be channelers and you could bring frequencies through or words through for other people. Or you could have, like, you know, clairvoyancy, where you bring images through. Whichever one, clairesentience, clairaudience, whichever. But I just feel like some of you guys may be a bridge for spirit, because when I tap into your frequency, there's a very, very pure frequency where I feel like things are allowed to, like, things are able to funnel through. It's like I'm being shown a pipe in a sink that needs to be kept clear, so that the water can just, you know, flow through the way it needs to. Like, that's what I'm being shown. So there's definitely a high and strong connection to the divine that I see that you guys in this lifetime were always going to have access to. And maybe some of you guys had to, especially with the Magician card, like, I feel like some of you guys may have had to alchemize a lot or clear out where that channel wasn't always clear. I'm literally being shown like a drain, and then somebody put in like a, like, you know, you put those like oils and stuff down the drain to like clear it. That's what I'm being shown for some reason. But it's like, I feel like some of you guys may have had to do that in your lifetime. Clear a lot of distortions, a lot of projections, a lot of fears, I'm actually being told. So that your vessel could be very pure to bring information through. And I don't mean like pure in regards to don't eat this, don't do that, like, listen to your body, of course. I just mean like, your consciousness is very, very clear. And I feel like in this lifetime you may have gone through many ego deaths, or you may end up going through ego deaths, because I see you really evolving and expanding your awareness. And I feel as well, you do kind of give off, when I say leader of the tribe, like, there is a reference at times of maybe being a bit of a lone wolf. And the reason that's coming through, I keep being shown periods where your frequency may have been a little bit more fragile, and I see a lot of shifting in that time period. And it's like, I don't want fingerprints, you know, like when you paint something and you don't want somebody else's fingerprints on it to like dirty it or mess it up, so you have to like hang it to dry where it can't get ruined. There's something there where I see like pockets of time where you may have been a little bit more fragile, or you were going through like an alchemization process, let's say, and I see you literally transforming. So it's like, I'm on my own for that little while, so I can really get to grips with who I am and really root into who I am as I'm evolving. So I see a lot of that. You give off this very elder frequency. That's one thing that I want to say. Anything else you can tell me about pile number one's frequency, please? Let's get more cards down. Pile number one, the imprint my pile number ones hold. I keep feeling like, honestly, how it's coming through, I'm seeing you, like, so like your human body, and then I'm being shown your aura, but it's really weird. It's like a clear jelly, and I see you walking up to people, and the way I'm seeing people, it's like they've got squiggles all around them, which is like distortions and marks in their energy. And I almost like feel like there's a door opening to this like jelly little blob you're in, and you're like bringing somebody in. And as you're bringing somebody in, it's like you're showing them their purest form. It's like you're helping them clear any distortions so they can tap into their purest form. It's not you telling people you're this and you're that. It's you helping them find a level of grace with like things that have happened in their lives, and help them clear distortion so that they can tap into their truest frequency. I feel like that's what you're here to do, is really clear distortions for other people. So you may find that a lot of people may tell you a lot or feel comfortable to tell you things, because I feel one of the things that you're very good at doing is holding space for people. You literally feel like you're a cleaner upper of energy, and you may be very connected to the fae, you may be very connected to the gnome beings, like the tree nymphs, a lot of that. You may be connected there, because there's this feeling of like, I'm clear in frequencies and clear in energy. Pile number one, please. Pile number one's imprint. We have the Knight of Pentacles. One more card, please, Spirit Guides. Pile number one. We have the Page of Swords. And the back of the deck, we have the Ten of Swords. Interesting. You are always going to be somebody that transformed a lot in this lifetime. You may have a lot of Scorpio placements. You may have a lot of planets in your 8th house. You could be very just Plutonian in nature. That's what I'm picking up. But I feel like you've gone through you had to sit with a lot of wounds or a lot of darkness, and I feel like you've had to transform it. I feel like you're somebody that's very introspective, and it's different for all of you. I'm being shown introspective in the sense of like emotionally. So I see you really sitting with your feelings and allowing them to purge out. And then others of you, it's almost like mentally. So there's like air energy coming through, and I feel like I'm clearing. I feel like I'm creating order out of chaos. So I'm reviewing what's gone on in my life, and I'm kind of like transmuting out of it. I'm going over and over and over it until it's cleared. It's almost like I'm beating this like china cup until it's smashed into powder, literally. Like that's what I feel like I'm doing. You may even be perfectionists in this lifetime too, because I feel like when there's something, you're like a pro at reading energy and understanding your own energy, which is why I feel like you'd be helpful helping other people in that aspect, because I feel like I'm seeing you, which is like that jelly kind of like blob thing around you, like a clear thing, and then it's like in that little blob is like this tiny little shard. It literally looks like a pencil shard, right, when you sharpen a pencil, and it's like black, and I see you looking at it and it's like, ooh, like you can't see it but you can feel it, and you're like, that's not mine. And then I see you taking all of the energy of that like jelly little blob to that random tiny speck, and you're like, not mine. And you start clearing it out until it's just gone. It's like I'm poking it till it's gone, and then it's just left, and I'm like, yeah, exactly. And now I'm back to my frequency. It's quite interesting. Lots of transformations, and I feel like you learn from the tiniest thing too. Like you could have like a short-term relationship, a very quick situationship. You could have like a friend you were only friend with for a month, but you'd be able to it's like you're able to take so much from it and understand about yourself. It's like it could be the tiniest mirror, but you'll bring the mirror all the way up and go, what can I learn? And it's like the equivalent of, you know, when you have toothpaste and you want to get the last dregs of the toothpaste before you get a new one. That's the equivalent of it. It's like I'm draining and rinsing this so I can clear it, so there's no specks left. Like that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm being shown. But I do feel as well, because of that frequency, that you're here to channel and bring in a lot of frequencies or pass on a lot of messages and, you know, a lot of ideas. But with the Knight of Pentacles and then the Page of Swords, I also feel like you're here to be very innovative. I feel like there's almost like, the way it's looking to me, I feel like I'm arriving at checkpoints where I've reached a specific frequency and I need to channel this message through, or I need to bring this frequency through, or this idea, I need to put it out into the world. This song, these lyrics, this emotion, it needs to get out into the world, and I need to pass it on. So I feel like you also hold the imprint of being an innovator. I feel like you're here to, again, every leader is an innovator. They make change, they spark change, and I feel like that's what you're here to do. And I shout out Scarlet Serpent. I was watching one of his videos the other day, and he said, when you're here to like lead the crowd, like you don't want to follow trends, because if you're following trends, you're a follower, so you're behind. I love that he said this. When you follow trends, you're like a follower, so you're behind something. But when you're here to like do something new and fresh, you're like leading it, so you're like leading that trend, so you're in the front. And I just thought that was really interesting. Like I thought that was like a really cool thing for him to say, so shout out Scarlet Serpent. Love his videos. But yeah, that's what I feel like you're here to do. I feel like you're here to be a leader and spark change and spark that, you know, that newness, you know what I mean? And spark, I almost feel like I'm planting seeds. I feel like I'm planting seeds. I'm sparking people's like healing journeys, or I'm bringing in specific frequencies. This is a frequency that the people in this phase of my life are going to need, so I'm aligning with it really strongly, and then other people can benefit too, and I also benefit because I evolve with it. That's what I'm being shown with you guys' imprint. But there's something about making sure something is clear for me to bring in frequencies of, it's like every task I go through, it's like a muddy trail, and I clean and clear it up. And it's just like I walk through it, and then I create this beautiful garden. And when we create, you know, we create the flowers, we get the pretty like plant pots or whatever we're creating, so we're inspiring. And I feel like you're here to really inspire people as well. Let's take a look at your oracle cards. Pile number 1, please. Pile number 1. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. Pile number 1. Show me pile number 1's imprint. You have ceremony, invocation. You're definitely here to bring through messages from spirit or connect to spirit. Because I feel like I'm walking around and I'm honoring earth. I'm honoring others. I'm seeing myself so deeply and clearly that I can see everything else so deeply and clearly. You have the music card as well. And the back of the deck, you have autumn equinox release, which isn't shocking because I feel like you've had to clear a lot in this lifetime, I feel. So you can create that clear kind of vessel. To create, we have to clear something. When we let go and release energy, by universal law, something has to come in to fill its place, and that's why you get to have fun and create. So you cleanse to create then, you know, like the magician creates out of nothing. But we have to get rid of something to bring in something, type of thing. We let go of something for it to come around again, and I feel like that's where that clearing to activate and create comes from. You bring through frequencies then, which really does make me think like you've been through ego deaths or gone through transformations or just big shadow periods, dark nights of the soul. Could have gone through an Kundalini awakening. There's just a lot of shifts that I'm being shown. But there's something with ceremony and invocation about honoring yourself or seeing yourself so deeply so you can see other people, because then you're able to view and see parts of people that maybe they don't even see within themselves, and you help hold space for them to activate it within. I feel like that's what you're here to do, and I feel like you may act as a mirror sometimes for other people, and of course when that happens we can trigger people. Sometimes we can trigger people's wounds, or trigger, you know, if we see something in someone that they've repressed, that can trigger, you know, that does happen. But of course once it's triggered and it's been worked through, brighter energy comes through, and then you inspire. So I feel like on the tail end you inspire a lot of people as well. Definitely very innovative. And even when you think of music, like we create music, you know, there was nothing, and then we created these instruments so we could make these sounds. That's what human beings decided to do. We made instruments to make sounds, to bring vibrations through, to bring frequencies through. We use our voice and we sing to bring frequencies through, to bring words through. Even when we're just speaking, we're bringing frequencies through. And if you do, you know, what I'm doing, channeling, coding in the words, you're bringing frequency through. That's how it moves people. And I feel like that's what you're here to do. I feel like you're here to pass on frequencies, help clear them, and then help pass them on. Because it's always a two-way street. And I feel like that's what you're here to do. Let's pull one final card. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. Pile number 1's imprint. Pile number 1's imprint. Tap me into my pile number 1's. What frequency did they choose to incarnate with? We have sacrifice. There are those worth making. There are those that will destroy you. Interesting. Especially with the 8th house scorpionic field, the Plutonian field that I was picking up. Like I said, when we have to create and bring a frequency through, we have to release and let go of the old. You know, when we choose to heal because we want to bring a different frequency through, we have to go through the sacrifice of not only letting go of our own old beliefs and what we were attached to, but we also have to really go through the process of pain and purging to come out to the other side. It's a sacrifice that we make. And I think it was Tay, from Tarot with Tay, on her Instagram, she posted a quote on her story, and it was something like, we always have to go through a level of, I don't know if it was like discomfort or sacrifice or something like that, but it was like say, you know, when you go into the gym, like you can either have the sacrifice of not eating those foods and like eating healthy, or you can have the sacrifice of like the health side, but not I'm butchering what it said. It was basically saying, like, whatever you go through, whatever path you choose, you have to sacrifice something. That's what it was saying. I completely butchered it, but that is basically what I'm picking up with the sacrifice card. I just feel like that's the whole process of letting go and transmuting, so you could bring something else through and reach those higher heights. And I feel like that's probably something you've had to do in this lifetime, with the Ten of Swords being at the back of the deck. But I feel like you're here to bring frequencies through, and you just come through as an elder. And I feel it's hard to pinpoint like a specific frequency in terms of like what I'd look at as like a personality, because one, we're looking at it from a spiritual lens anyway, but with you having that having to clear a lot of maybe what you were or your own makeup, I feel like you're here to help people transform and transmute. And I feel like at your core, then you're actually a creator. You're here to create. I think you're here to create beauty. I think you're here to create love. I think you're here to invoke and inspire people. I think you're here to be that kind of light in the dark for people. I think anytime that you can create music or art or poetry, or just even an outfit that you wear, I feel like anytime you're creating, I think that's your most purest form. It's just the shadow side of that then is having to clear to make room for the creation. And I feel like you know that side all too well, that transformational side. But on the other end of the void is creation. You know, when we go through a dark night of the soul, we hit the void, everything's empty, and we think, what's the point? And then something finally clicks and we're like, actually, what is the point? Let me go create the point. Let's paint with all the colors of the wind, you know, like let's create. What does my life mean? What do I want to do? What is life? Let's create. And I feel like you're here to invoke that in other people, but also to create, you know, from your soul. I think that's what you're here to do. You're a creator. You're a creator. That's what I'll say. So pile number 1, that is what I have for you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed your reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey pal 2, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at your imprint, the frequency that you chose to bring to earth in its purest form. So you guys chose the Amazonite. I'm going to start with tarot and then we're going to move on to your oracle card. So let's go. So pile number 2, please spirit guides. Pile number 2, the Amazonite pile. Pile number 2, please spirit guides. Pile number 2. Show me my pile number 2's imprint, please. Tap me into my pile number 2's imprint. What frequency did they incarnate to bring through? What frequency did my pile number 2's incarnate to bring through? I don't know if you guys have been going through like activating a specific chakra, or if you've been going through an awakening recently, but I know this feeling all too well. You know when you have like frequencies and like shifts of energy moving up through your body, and sometimes you can feel it at the base of your root and your sacral chakra, especially when you're going through that Kundalini awakening. It starts down there before it makes its way up. That's what I felt tapping into, you guys. So I don't know if you've recently gone through started the process of a Kundalini awakening, or if maybe it's just clearing of your sacral and root, but I literally feel like I want to dance, and I want to kind of move my hips around and kind of just dance, like just such a focus on the sacral chakra. I feel like I want to move it around and connect to that side of me. There could even be a clearing that's going to be happening there soon, pile number 2, in your sacral. I'm just picking that up in my lower chakras as I tap in. It makes me want to like boogie. I just want to dance and just twerk behind the camera. That's literally how I'm feeling. But yeah, so you have the 7 of Wands. You have the Hermit. Pile number 2, please. Pile number 2's imprint. We've got the Hierophant. One more card, please, spirit guides. Pile number 2. Pile number 2's imprint. Pile number 2's imprint. We have the 4 of Wands as well. Okay, and the back of the deck you have the Knight of Swords. Let me just so you can see it. Okay, so we've got the Seven of Wands, nine. We've got the Hermit, we've got the Hierophant, and we have the Four of Wands. Okay. Are you guys very connected to Mother Gaia and the earth? Because if you're not, I feel like that's the point, a big point of your incarnation, and I feel like that is where you're headed to. I'm being shown like a ship on the sea, and it's like headed towards, I literally keep being shown what looks like a big tree, and I also feel a strong connection to the tree people, so connecting with trees and the tree spirits, I feel like that is a realm that would I feel hold a lot of guidance for you if you were to meditate and connect there, because I do feel like your truest nature in terms of like your imprint is very, very rooted into the physical body and very, very connected to the physical body. I'm actually being taken to a lot of past lives where you would have used your body in different ways. Now you could have used your body, I have to be careful how I'm saying this, the sensual side, the pleasurable side, I feel like you would have used your body in different ways for that in past lives, whether it's through manifesting, through tantra, like whatever it was. I feel like you would have been connected there, and I feel like there's just a purity there, and a connection in terms of your higher self in past lives. And I also see a very, very deep connection to the physical body. I feel like some of you guys in past lives may have been medicine men and medicine women. You would have worked with nature, and you also would have connected to the higher realms of Mother Gaia too. So again, like I said, the tree people, but the stone people, the dragon beings, like whatever it is that you feel called to, I feel like you would have worked with. You even feel like your soul is in some sort of like contract or like working in tandem with those beings, the fae, you know, the water spirits. That there's some connection there, which it could even be that your soul is also a part of that frequency. And duality wise, if we're going to go there, I feel like your soul may still be residing on earth, but in like a different frequency within those realms, because I really, really do see that. And there's a really strong connection to animals too. It wouldn't shock me if you don't have this right now. I feel at one point there seems to be such a strong connection to animals that you may work with animals at one point. So you could have like work in like a sanctuary, you could just volunteer or help out, or it could just be like you have your own garden and you have like bird baths and you look after birds or whatever. But there's a lady around mine, and it's actually how I got all 4 of my cats. She basically goes around my area, and in her free time she just looks for strays and she takes them off the street and she feeds them, neuters them, spays them, feeds them, nurses them to health if they're poorly, all out of her own pocket. And then she finds homes for them. It's like a non-profit thing. That's how I got all my four babies. So I see something like that at one point. Like I feel like you're here for Mother Gaia, you're here for nature. I feel like you're here for but there's something about I need to root back in. And honestly right now there's such a focus on my lower chakras, specifically my sacral and my root. I don't know if some of you guys have dealt with shame connected to the sensual side of life. Again, have to be careful with what I'm saying. I don't know if some of you guys have had shame or been projected on there, or there's been woundings there, or even in the root and the physical body. If you guys have been through you know, a lot in life, if you've dealt with like CPTSD, or you've, you know, dealt with situations where you've disassociated and had to come out of your physical body, there's almost like a detachment that I see you rewire and almost grounding yourself back in, and it's kind of a process. And you may have even incarnated in families where that was a big theme, so that you could really root it back in. And there's a focus on like health, and I know there are many pathways in terms of grounding back into the body health wise, whether it's the like botanical route, or it's the holistic route, or if it's not the holistic route, you know your body, you know how you connect to it. But I just see a lot of focus there, and I actually feel like there's such a connection to Mother Gaia. I feel like your imprint in its like truest form, I feel like it is to really root into your physical body and tap into your physical body in like the highest degree. That's what I'm being shown there. because I almost feel like I'm in a fight with my physical body. I almost feel like I'm trying to detach from my physical body. I'm trying to run. And it's maybe a lot of your life was spent like channeling with spirit and connecting with spirit, and that will always be a part of it. But I see spirit helping you root back into your lower chakras. And I see something right now, like a clearing going on, attention being focused on the sacral or on the root. I see a lot of focus there, and maybe because I see this a lot of people, they'll be super connected to spirit, and then spirit will literally bring them back into their body, whereas you'll kind of go down the chakras and have expansions in different ways. So you'll go through like a throat chakra purge, and then a heart chakra purge, and then a solar plexus purge, and you'll make your way down. But for some reason there's a big focus on the sacral and the root right now. I feel like it's part of the process right now. But your imprint, I feel like you're here to, because the thing is, when we see that we're all one, and we see that we're part of nature, because we are, and we see that we're all part of each other, that's like a fourth dimensional vibration. And I think you're here to remind people as well of that unity, not just of each other, but like our, you know, our animal brothers and sisters and nature. I feel like you're here to bring that through. It wouldn't shock me, and it doesn't have to be like nature, like woodlands. It can be like nature, the sea, and whales and dolphins and starfish, and you just marine biology and all of that. There could be a connection there. But there's something about working with all of the elements in unison. And when I'm connecting to your soul and its imprint, there's such a connection there. Some of you guys also may have had ancestors that moved in tribes, and that were really connected to the earth. Like you could be connected to like indigenous tribes like on the land that you're currently at, and you could be very connected to your ancestors there. Some of you guys could have had past lives connected to that. You all definitely would have had past lives connected to nature and working with nature. And even if we're going to go back through the times, we can connect them to Avalon and Lemuria and all of that. There's such a deep connection to the earth, and I feel like that's who you are at your core. I don't know why I'm being shown somebody like in a supermarket or like just somewhere public, and a baby's just staring at them, or like a bird's just flying in their face. It's like nature's drawn to you. You have the same frequency as nature. And I'm being shown, I cannot remember the reading, but there was a particular reading I did, and I'm sure it was one of my Akashic ones, and there was a group of souls that were, the way it was shown to me, the word I was given was like watchers, but they were watching Mother Gaia. They were very protective of Mother Gaia, very connected to Mother Gaia, and when they'd incarnate to protect. And they felt like they were part of, it was like a consciousness of Mother Gaia, and I feel like your souls feel connected to that, to be honest with you. And I feel like it'll develop to a high degree. I feel like some of you guys are going to get into the either holistic side or the health side of life. And then others of you are going to just really ground into nature. And there's a connection to animals and looking out for nature. And I feel like that's where you're headed. And I feel like that is part of your imprint and your frequency. And you probably felt at times like, I don't want to be here, like I don't like earth, like I don't like being here, but I feel like your soul's so connected to earth. I think it was just the paradigms that you incarnated into and were placed into, and the paradigms that are still out there were taught to be so disconnected from Mother Gaia. We're completely tuned out in a lot of ways, and I feel like you're here to tune yourself back in and find that kind of like heaven on earth for you, and really root yourself in. But there's a very, no matter the gender, a very mother bear, fierce, protective vibe over nature and animals. That's what I'm being shown. But I don't know why, I feel like a purge soon for you guys happening in your sacral. I keep wanting to like, do you know when you see belly dancers and they move their belly, but I feel like I'm moving the area like of my hips with my sacral, and I feel like I'm tapping into some sort of rhythm. I don't know, some of you guys have said I can't dance, or I can't twerk, or I can't do any of these things, but I feel like there's almost like something that makes me feel like I can't move my body in that way. Like there's like a shame attached, or like a wound attached, which isn't even yours, and I see you purging it out and clearing it out and transmuting it, and I see you feeling more empowered in that area of life. It's a process that you are going through. You may currently or have just come out of a clear out in your solar plexus, so to do with your own confidence and your own self-will and putting boundaries in and standing up for yourself and just your fierceness there. It's now trickling down to the sacral, I feel, and then it's going to come into the root. And I feel like, because the way it's been shown to me, I'm being shown like your energetic body, and then I'm being told you've already started unraveling these layers just on the outside, like, and it's like the big spiral, so you're coming into like the root now, like you're coming down into the sacral where everything's kind of tied up and you're unclearing it, like I want to say like you just recently have done with your solar plexus, or like you're currently doing with your solar plexus, because there feels like there's something being shifted there right now in terms of your sacral chakra. And even with the Knight of Swords, like if you look at the sword and it's like literally going down into the ground, I feel like you're here to almost drill yourself back in, root yourself back in to your physical body, to enjoy your physical body, to love your physical body. And I feel like the imprint you have is the imprint of nature, of Mother Gaia, and that frequency in its purest form. You may connect with animals really well. Pile number 2, please, spirit guides. Pile number 2 is imprint. Some of you guys may, when you're getting down to the root and the sacral, because when we don't just go 1, 2, 3, like we'll start clearing the heart, and then as well, like on the tail end of clearing the heart space, then the solar plexus will start. So it kind of happens in unison. We never just jump, you know, we never just, oh, ego, death, void, out of it. It's all a slow walk and shift. It's never red, yellow, you pass through orange. So I feel like as you are coming into the sacral, I feel like the root chakra is also going to be then affected by that in a clearing. And I see, I don't know why, I just want to reference like little jolts in the body, like my eyes twitching, or my fingers started to twitch, or I'm just laying in bed and I've jumped, like little things like that and being shown, especially towards the groin area and the sacral chakra. I feel like I'm hopping or jumping in bed, and I know what it feels like when those frequencies come through. If the camera's shaking, it's because I behind the scenes do a live action and move my body in ways I'm telling you, and then it shakes the camera. For some reason I like to act it all out. But yeah, the next card we have is Volcano. Volatility. Volatility. Why did I not know how to say that? Volatility. One more card, please, from this deck, please, spirit guides. What have we got? Vulnerability. The Medal. I love how it's nature as well. In the back of the deck you have the Stone People, which I was just talking about, the stone and the dragon beings. But yeah, the Stone People, Vigilance. Volcano. I feel like, similar to pile number 1, I feel like you've probably had to purge quite a bit, but it really does feel like either what you've incarnated into and you've had to clear their distortions, or you've had to clear other people's projections. Because I don't know why I feel like when I'm tapping into the sacral chakra, I feel shame, like someone shamed me of something or projected something onto me, and that's what I'm clearing. But that's what I see. I see like a transmutation there. So it's like we're getting it out, we're flushing it away so we can really root in. And with the Medal, vulnerability, when we even think of nature as well, like, and even with the Medal card, like vulnerability, I just feel like even when you tap into, like, when you connect with the animals, like, you know, when you lose a pet and the distraught feeling that you feel, like that grief. The reason you feel that grief is because it's like unconditional love. You never physically, with your words, have a conversation with your pet, but you energetically connect to them. There's that purity there, you know, no matter what pet it is. And I feel like you're here to bring through that same frequency. It's like a pure love. It's like it's a purity. That's the only way I can describe it. I feel like you're here to bring that through. I feel like that's your true frequency. And there's a softness to you too that I feel like you're meant to bring through. It's like a nurturing vibe. You know, when we want plants to grow, we nurture them, we water them, we take care of them. When we have, you know, our pets in our home, we nurture them, we take care of them, we love them. And for us to thrive, we have to nurture each other and love each other and take care of each other. That's the whole point. And I feel like that's what you're here to do. You have a very like maternal or paternal, whichever one you resonate with, vibration, I feel. And I also think that's what animals and maybe children are drawn to, because children are human beings in their purest form. And I love how a child just shouted out. I heard the birds and a little child outside just shouted. But you know, children, they are human beings in their purest form, and animals are, you know, so pure in the way that they love and they take care of their little prides and their flocks and, you know, their pods, whatever it is. Like they pour into them, and I feel like that's a frequency you're here to bring through. It's like Mother Gaia, you know. So let's pull. Okay, so I'm going to pull your final oracle card. Pile number 2, please, spirit guides. Pile number 2. What frequency have my pile number 2s incarnated to hold? What frequency? We have the present, gift, treasure, revelation of own value, nowness. And when we're in the present, when we're connected to Mother Gaia, we're in the present, you know. When we're connected to nature, we're in the present. We're grounded into the present, into this present moment. And we can see that everything that we want, whatever we're creating, it happens now. It happens in the present. And I feel like you're here to really root and ground yourself into the present. To create and love and focus in the right now and nurture in the right now. I feel like that's what you're here to do. I feel like that's your frequency. So pile, I just want to show you really quickly. My computer screen just turned itself on, and I'm trying to get it in the camera. I don't know if you could see the little, I don't even know what they are, but there's a little tribe of animals on my screen. But yeah, I wanted to show you that because I thought that was really cute that came on. But yeah, I think there's such a connection to animals, nature, children, and I love how they all interfered with the reading too. But yeah, pile number 2, that is what I have for you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed your reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching. And hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey pile 3, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at your imprint, the frequency that you chose to incarnate with. So you guys chose the clear quartz. I'm going to start with tarot, and then we're going to move on to your oracle card. So pile number 3, please, spirit guides. Show me my pile number 3's imprint. What frequency did my pile number 3's choose to incarnate with? We have the 4 of Swords. What frequency did my pile number 3's choose to incarnate with? I keep feeling this feeling of like, if you're not going to do it, I will. It's similar to pile number 1 in the sense that I'm picking up a lot of leadership energy, but there's a lot of fire surrounding you guys, like Sagittarius, Leo, Aries. I'm picking up a lot of fire, but there's this feeling of like, I'll step up, like I'll say that thing, I'll wear that outfit, I'll take up space, I'll do it. If you're not going to do it, I'll do it. That's kind of how it's coming through. Like, I'm here to take up space, and I feel like this is what you're growing into in this lifetime. It's like a wild heart, kind of like firecracker energy, and it's kind of like, I'm gonna be the one to do it. There's like a space, I'm going to fill it, like I'm gonna take up space, I'm going. And there's a lot of like passionate energy here, because I keep being shown like your vessel, so there's a lot of fire energy, and there's that creative spark, but it's like I'm creating and I'm shining as bright as I can. And I feel like in this lifetime you either inspire, it's like double-edged sword with you. You inspire a lot of people, but you probably trigger a lot of people too. Because I always say, like, the brighter the light, the more of a shade that you cast. And I just feel that you are here to kind of show people their potential. So aligning with your highest timeline, or show people the potential of what they could be, how much they can create, going after, you know, the higher path. I feel like you're here to be very ambitious. And I feel like that then will either trigger or inspire, because it'll inspire people to jump onto their own highest path and do what you're doing, but it could also trigger people that aren't doing that. You know, I've been taught to repress this, I've been taught to do, you know, to hide back, to fall back, I've been taught to do all of this, and then it's like a kind of I feel triggered. Then it's like, how are you shining so bright? I thought we weren't meant to do that. So it's like I'm getting triggered, but I feel like that's the frequency you're meant to bring through. Pile number 3, please, spirit guides. Let me get the cards down. Pile number 3, please, spirit guides. You have the 9 of Pentacles. Pile number 3, please, spirit guides. Pile number 3. We have Justice. Pile number 3, please, spirit guides. Pile number 3. What frequency did my pile number 3s choose to incarnate with? We also have the Queen of Pentacles as well. It's very connected to this physical realm and like what I can do in the physical realm. It's very connected to like what I can achieve. I feel like you guys have very big goals, or I feel like you guys do things that are maybe out of the norm, or do things that other people would consider maybe like reckless, or do things that other people would consider just kind of like jumping out of the box. For example, you could come from like a hometown where people kind of just do the same thing, and I feel like you got a lot of downloads and a lot of ideas of like what you could reach. You just intuitively connect to that. So there's that ambitious energy, which is where I'm getting the fire, and I feel like you bring it into the physical. And I feel like in this lifetime, whether it's like material abundance, and that's what you're striving for, or it's like a certain type of career that's out of the norm, or just doing something differently, I feel like I'm going for more. I feel like where people would decide to just stay where they are or not jump from the other side of their fears, I'm brushing through that. I'm going for more. Some of you guys could be going down career paths that are like more on the creative aspect, so it could be social media, or you could be singers, or you could be actors, or whatever it is where people are like, that's not the norm. I feel like that's a career path that you guys may be going down, because I feel like it also feels towards like your expression. So some of you guys could be very openly confident, or again, this could be an energy you grow into in this lifetime, so you could be growing into that. But I see some of you guys being very openly confident, or really talking your ish. Also, just, it doesn't even have to be that. It could be that people around are very logic based, and you're meant to, you connect deeper to spirit and really stand in that. It's like I'm standing out, like I'm that flower that kind of plopped out, but it's like I'm doing it to inspire the other flowers. Like, we don't, just because one flower grew to that length doesn't mean we all have to grow to that length. Like, I'm gonna go further. There's this feeling of more like expansion. There's a lot of like Jupiterian Sagittarius energy, and it's like expansion, but it feels connected to this physical world. It's like what people can see. It's like you almost like, I'm looking around and people are staying stuck to their restrictions, but it's like you're inspiring people to like really question why. There's some Aquarian energy coming through as well. It's like, why are you sticking to the rules? Who made the rules? Like, do you know who made the rules? Whose rules are you sticking to? Are they making you happy? And I feel like you're here to inspire people there. There's almost this passionate kind of lustful life feeling that I see coming through from you guys. And I feel like you're here to like say that thing, do, wear that outfit, do that thing, travel to that place, take that career path, do something different. I feel like you're here to do that. You're here to be innovators like that. And I feel like you're here to really be seen. You were probably that pile that I referred to that's like an activator, like the sun. I feel like you're here to inspire people. It wouldn't even shock me if some of you guys find yourself, or have already found yourself in positions in your career where you are being seen. So it could be like in movies or on music or anything like that, but it could also be social media. You could have TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, things like that. You are able to influence people just by your vibration, just by your frequency. And there's this reference of like, I'm looking at you and I know that I can have more. Or like, it's like I'm looking at you and you're standing up for yourself, and now I feel like I can stand up for myself. Or I'm looking at you and you're wearing that outfit, and now I feel that I can wear that outfit. Or I'm looking at you and you come from the same situation as I do, and you were able to shift your career like that and jump to a career path. I feel like I can do that now. So I feel like you kind of kickstart people, whereas then of course there would come the double-edged sword, where then you may trigger people, where people are like, oh my god, they're wearing that and I really want to wear mine, but I was told that I couldn't, and that, people put it in my head that I can't do this because, people see people and they're like, ha, cringe, or like, oh my god, I can't believe that person's trying to be a TikToker, or oh my god, like, I'll get it sometimes in my comments like, oh, Connie, and it's just like, okay, like life is that way sometimes. Life is that way. Sometimes we're meant to be seen. Sometimes we're meant to do that silly dance on TikTok. Sometimes we're meant to tap into our emotions and really showcase them in a vulnerable way. And just because that was repressed on you, you know, you decided to repress that because somebody projected onto you that you can't do that, or that's cringe, or you shouldn't be doing that, then you're going and trying to project that on me, but I'm not going to take it. And I feel like that's where you get those like triggered people. Like, you can't be that confident, you're being cocky, or you can't go and do that, like that's not going to work. And I feel like you've probably heard that a lot, where people have tried to keep you in a box, but I feel like you're actually here to show people the box is just like, it's all in the mind. The box is in the mind. You created the constraints, and if you're not happy there, you don't have to be there. If you're happy there, stay in the box. That's great. But anybody that's happy in the box would not be projecting outward anyway, you know? So I feel like you're here to kind of have people tick like that, and really like, if you're not going to go take that leap, I'll do it. If you're not going to go and take that, you know, and drive forward with it, I'm going to do it. Like, I feel like you're here to really help people tap into their own courage. And I feel like there's that fire, passionate energy that I feel like you bring through, that really inspires other people to show up for themselves in the physical. You know, like sometimes you'll see like a YouTube, or like you'll see somebody in the gym, or you'll see somebody on YouTube like doing their hair or whatever in some type of way, and it's like, wow, like I want to do that too, like I wish I had that together. And then it kind of like makes you think, well, I could do that, you know what I mean? I could have a morning routine like this, or I could just head down there now, or I could take that picture, like nothing's stopping me. And it has you kind of have that moment of like, well, I could. I feel like you're here to do that. I feel like you're here to inspire people with that, you know what I mean? And really, like I said, the sun allows the flowers to, you know, grow, you know, grow up into the air. I don't know if you've ever seen, like, we used to do it in school. We'd make like crests, and the crest would be facing towards the sun to get the sun, and then we'd like turn the crest the other way so it was facing away from the sun, and then the next morning the crest would be back facing the sun, like it would have grown in the direction of the sun. I feel like you're here to kind of help people bloom like that and inspire people like that. You are the sun to their crest, is what I'm trying to say. But that's the imprint that I feel like you guys have chosen to incarnate with. I feel like you're here to inspire people to show up for themselves in the physical, and to really take up space in the physical. There's a strong focus on like people being activated into their highest timelines, or people being activated into their own growth, or people being inspired to create themselves and tap into their own sun energy. I feel like honestly that's what you're here to do. And it wouldn't shock me if you probably then have, you could be very solar, you could have a lot of sun, you know, energy in your chart, you could have a lot of Leo, but also I just feel like I'm being shown the sun in the first house too, but you could also just have a lot of fire in your chart. So that's Leo, Sag, and Aries. You also have the Wheel of Fortune at the back of the deck, and it's reversed, but behind it is the Four of Cups. And I just feel like you're here to get the cogs turning. You're here to inspire people, like where things may be dull. It's like people see you and it's like, oh, you know, that's exciting. I don't know why I'm thinking of Magha Stallion. I don't know if somebody here likes Magha Stallion, but like for me anyway, whenever I see her, I know she's Aquarius. I don't know her chart, so I don't know if she has fire energy, but whenever I see her, she has such a bright aura. No matter what outfit she's wearing, no matter the song I'm listening to with her, I feel pumped. Like she just has that vibration. Magha Stallion does. I don't know why she's coming through, but yeah, there's just like a vibe there where I feel like somebody's bright and somebody's inspiring. That's what I will say. Very creative. I feel like you're very creative for sure. But I feel like you're bold, and I think that's the frequency you came here to incarnate with, to inspire the bold. So we have celebration, which is dance. I was talking about dancing on TikTok, and dance shows up. You could be a dancer. Pile number 3. Pile number 3. We have desert, vision quest, and I love how in the desert like the sun's constantly out, so that is quite interesting. And the back of the deck you have the green man synergy. Vision quest, celebration. Yeah, even when you think of like dance and celebration, like think of like when you host like a birthday party, or you host like a christening or whatever it is, like a bar mitzvah, and you think of the creative process of that. Like, what is the theme? What is the color? What type of cake? Like, how are we gonna decorate the cake? What type of foods? Like, that whole thing, it's like creative. And even just in dance or any type of, you know, artistic outlet, like, you have to create, you have to inspire. We all get inspired by art and music and poetry and dances. We all get inspired by that. And even when you see celebrities like in the music industry and they're making music, they get inspired off of the past too, because it's like that's what inspired them to make music. And you see them pay homage to people in the past, you know what I mean? So there's something there where it's like, I feel like you're here to echo that kind of inspiration and that passion and zest for life to people. And with Vision Quest, I feel like it's like my vision is going to be bright. Like, my vision is going to be big. Like, I'm going to dream big. Like, I'm going to take up space. I'm going to do that thing. I'm going to say that thing. I'm going to make those moves. I'm going to be the one to do that. And I feel like it inspires then people to do that, you know? Pile number 3, please, Spirit Guides. Final card. Show me my pile number 3's imprint. What did they choose to... We have telepathy, non-verbal communication, energetic pulses, mind reading. I love how that's in the shape of a heart. That looks really pretty. Okay, non-verbal communication, energetic pulses, mind reading. You really do have a strong aura. You may even get people say, like, because even if I feel like I'm seeing you in a picture, whatever picture you have on social media or whatever, I feel like I'm looking at you and you're bright, like you're really, really shining through, like you really, really stick out and shine through. It's your aura. But I feel like as well, people can feel your presence. It's a frequency. I feel like you're just planting seeds constantly. It's like I said with the sun and the crest, like the crest was turning its head towards the sun to make sure it was getting the sunlight. So it's like you walk into a room, even if it's not like I'm physically looking at you, I can energetically just feel that aura. You have a very, very bright aura. 100%. And I feel like this lifetime, whether you've always just held this frequency where it's like, I'm going to do what I want and I'm going to stand in my own confidence or stand in my own uniqueness, I feel like if it's not something you've fully developed yet, it's something that you're growing into in this lifetime, because it is your purest frequency. And what's happening is you're just clearing distortions around that before you fully step into it. But a lot of you guys, I feel, already have that, or maybe you have it and don't realize it about yourself, and then that's a process where you learn that you have that, you know, frequency within. So yeah, pile number 3, that is what I have for you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed your reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey Palfo, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what imprint you incarnated with, what frequency your soul chose to bring through in this lifetime. So you guys chose the smoky quartz. I'm going to start with tarot, and then we're going to move on to your oracle cards. So let's get in. So pile number 4, please, Spirit Guides. Pile number 4. Show me my pile number 4's imprint. Pile number 4. Okay, too many cards just fell then. There's a quote, and I'm sure I have it on my Instagram still. And it's on my Instagram, I think it's Kendrick Lamar. I don't think I archived it. It should still be there. It's like Kendrick Lamar, and he says, what we don't understand is we're put on this earth to love. And then in the second bit of it, it's like, love. Like, he says it again. And that's what I'm feeling when I'm tapping into you guys. Pile number 4. Pile number 4. What imprint did my pile number 4s choose to incarnate with? We have the Queen of Wands. What imprint did my pile number 4s choose to incarnate with? I'm hearing vulnerability now. 10 of Cups. I feel like I'm opening up to a softness, but that softness is actually really bold, and I'm allowing people to see that depth. Like, I'm allowing people to connect to that. Like, I'm literally being shown inside of a shell and like a little sea urchin, and it's like I'm showing that side of me. Like, there's a level of vulnerability coming through, and I keep being taken to the heart space and showing that. Like, I'm showing kindness, I'm showing love, I'm pouring into people, I'm kind of like being that beacon. So there's something about that coming through. But let me get the other cards down. Pile number 4. Show me my pile number 4s. We have the Ace of Swords and the Page of Wands. And the back of the deck, we have the Two of Swords. Okay. Okay, yeah, straight away I feel like my heart space is starting to open. Like, that's where I'm being taken to. I feel like, I don't know if you guys look sweet or if you just come across sweet. There's a reference there, but I literally feel like I'm incarnating without my shell at first. Like, I feel like I'm incarnating as like a sea urchin. There's like a very, very strong connection to like the higher realms, and me just coming through with a specific connection to the heart space, like a purity in the heart space. And I just want to love. Like, that's the vibration that I'm in. But I feel like there's a lesson in terms of like that shell growing. The same way that the sea urchin grows, the shell will also grow with it. And I almost feel like there's like lessons then that would have happened in your earlier life where you learned to really build that shell and build those boundaries. But those boundaries were never meant to keep your vulnerability hidden. I feel like you've incarnated with a frequency of, there's such a light connection to the heart space where I'm choosing to be vulnerable. Like, I'm choosing to show people those deeper aspects of me. I'm choosing to show people, like, I'm choosing to love, and I'm choosing to love from, how do I put this into words? Some people don't connect to love in the way that others do. From my perspective, and this is honestly just my opinion, you don't have to take it on, I don't believe love is an emotion. I believe love is a frequency, and I've always said that. And I feel like when we love, we see that divinity in somebody else. But a lot of the times on earth, we're so disconnected to that divinity in our own selves and to spirit in general. We don't see the divinity in ourselves, and then we don't see it in other people. And we don't really understand love in that way then. We can maybe see it in things that are a little, you know, like animals. Like, we love animals and we connect there because there's that purity. But human beings, there's usually that complexity that stops people from being able to not only see themselves that deep but see others that deep. And I feel like a lot of people then, from a love perspective, it sometimes is more like they'll care for that person, or there's lust, or there's infatuation, or there's I'm trying to think, there's like attachment. But sometimes people don't really feel that frequency of love. But I feel like you tap into that. I don't know if you do things for work where you have to look out for other people. You could be a carer. I see you guys in some sort of nurturing position. You could also be connected to spirit because it's that frequency that I see coming through. But I feel like you're here to embody that and embody your own vulnerabilities and your frequency, to show other people that it's okay to bring that out, and really show people, because I keep being shown you hugging someone saying it's okay, or just holding space, or you holding space for other people to choose to be vulnerable, or for other people to really tap into that frequency. And I feel like that's what you're here to do. I feel like you're here to open your heart space and connect to people in a really deep way, and love people in a really deep way, and them then do the same to you. But I feel like in your earlier life, I feel like you have, I don't know why I'm hearing Ed Sheeran song Give Me Love. I don't know if somebody connects to that. I can't remember the lyrics. I'm just being shown the video where she's like an angel and she's shooting people with a bow and arrow. But I feel like you had to in earlier life learn to maybe put boundaries in, and also understand. I keep feeling like I'm going through a journey where I'm understanding that people can only meet me as deep as they've met themselves, and people can only have a connection with me as deep as they've met themselves. And I see you going through a transformation there and making sure that you're funneling the right frequencies where they need to go and creating boundaries there. I feel like that's what you've had to learn to do throughout your life, and maybe even clear away distortions, or where you've poured your love into someone, but they might not have poured it back. Maybe they didn't know themselves that deeply, so couldn't get to know you that deeply, and maybe you took that on as I'm not worthy of it, or I wasn't worthy of that type of love. Maybe you've had to go through experiences like that, but I feel like you're here to create love wherever you go. I feel like you're here to shine that love wherever you go, that vulnerability. I see you really connecting to people, and just there's like a kindness, and remember, like, kindness isn't nice. Kindness is kindness, niceness is niceness. Like, we can still have our boundaries, put our foot down, and, you know, have that shell but still be kind. You know what I mean? Sometimes people are nice, but it's like at the detriment of themselves. We want to be kind because we're doing it from a genuine place, but sometimes we don't have to be nice if we're protecting our energy, in the sense that we can say no, you know what I mean? And we can tell that person, don't F with me that way, you know what I mean? We can do that. And I feel like that's a journey that you've probably gone on in this lifetime. And I feel like you've also probably maybe like lost yourself or gone through very big purges in regards to your heart space. I don't think you've ever disconnected from your heart, but you may have like because I feel like your heart's really led the way, but you may have gone through like, because the solar plexus feels like it's being targeted, so maybe you've taken on other people's ability at times to see you as deep as you see the world, or to go to those depths that you do. You might have taken it on as like, I'm not worthy of that, which wasn't true. And I feel like through I keep being shown your heart directing where we're clearing, and where we're clearing that distortion and letting go, because I feel like there's a big strong sense of community. I feel like you're actually here to build a sense of community. Now that could be your own family unit and build up love in that way, but it could also be community in terms of like, you could have your own company where you lift other people up, or you pour into people, or you take care of people, you know what I mean? You could be on social media and build a community there where you're vulnerable and then other people, you know, are vulnerable. Like, it depends which avenue you go down, but I feel like you're here to bring love through, and that hold that, you know, vulnerability, and also strengthen your boundaries in that, because for a heart to be vulnerable like that and open, it needs to have an equal amount of boundaries, and I feel like that's what you're here to do. But I know it sounds so cliche, but I feel like you're here to love. I feel like you're here to express love. I feel like you're here to hold space. I feel like you're here to be kind, just to be kind, even if people don't understand it and they project, you're doing this for this and this, or like whatever. I feel like you're here to do that, but learning to not do it at a detriment to yourself, and making sure that your roots are very firm. I feel like that's what you're here to do. Because I don't know why I'm seeing you, and I don't know if it's something that's already happened or it will. It's almost like I'm, over time, I keep feeling like there's stone that's kind of like melting away, like ice. It's like turning into water, and I'm starting to develop. It's not you're starting to develop, it's like, how do I put this into words? It's like you've always had that frequency, but maybe you've had to put boundaries where you were just maybe kept to yourself, or you would isolate, or you would just almost expect people to like come for you or target you. So you almost had like a bit of a my sword's ready, and I feel like you've had to learn to like build those boundaries within, and then open to other people as time goes on, because I don't know why I keep being shown a process of ice melting. So it's like people are starting to see through and actually see those frequencies of light, and see that depth, and see that love that maybe before you had to put on like a hard face of, you know. I hope that makes sense. And I feel like that's what you're learning to do in this lifetime. But I feel like you've always stepped forward with a really pure frequency, but I don't know why I feel like I'm stepping through with a pure frequency, but I also feel like I'm expecting people to almost take from me, and I feel like that's what you're balancing in this lifetime. I hope that makes sense. But you're here to love. I feel like you're here to show acts of kindness. I feel like you're here to be vulnerable and tap into, it almost feels the inner child. I feel like I'm connecting with my inner child, and I'm allowing my inner child to like flow out and tap into that purity. I feel like that's what you're here to do. Pile number 4, please, spirit guides. Pile number 4's imprint. Pile number 4's imprint. We have tree grounding, and we have the new moon promise. On the back of the deck you have passion, fire. Okay, tree, grounding, new moon, promise. I also feel with the tree and grounding, I'm thinking of the family tree and you kind of growing out of specific circumstances and choosing love, like in the sense of, I'm not going to become what hurt me, I'm not going to become what triggered me, I'm not going to become what, like, the people that projected onto me, I'm not going to become that pain, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to clear that and I'm going to choose to fill that with love. I'm going to choose to fill that with light, not in the sense of you hurt me so I'm going to love you, not in that sense. I mean in the sense of, I'm not going to take that on and I'm going to keep growing upwards with love. And if you choose to grow with me, that's cool, but if you don't, I'm just going to keep holding this frequency. This is what I'm going to do, this is what I've chosen, you know, this is how I've chosen to move forward. And if you choose not to step into that frequency with me, that's okay, but we're out of alignment, and that's just what it is. And I feel like that's a lot as well, like those boundaries, because I feel like sometimes you may, and it's coming through that you may sometimes feel guilt about growing or having to step away from people, because you are very sensitive and I feel like you really do connect to people so deeply. But I feel like you're here to just, it's not your job to save and fix everyone. And maybe in your childhood, with all of that frequency, like I see such a bright frequency and a sensitive frequency, wherever I'm seeing distortion, it's like I want to love it back to health. And I feel like you've had to learn that that's actually not your job, and you're actually meant to pour that into you and grow as that light, and then just shine that, you know, frequency out, and then people can, you know, that match that can kind of align with you, or people that are wanting to do the work and grow, they can kind of come with you then. And I feel like that's what you've had to learn, because with promise and new moon, then it going into, it's like we're creating a new paradigm. So I feel like you would have grown out of something. I feel like you would have transmuted something, cleared out where there was, you know, distortion, and filled it then with love and kindness there. Because I feel like you also understand a lot. I feel like you understand even maybe people that you've had to walk away from and cut off from, because you're very deep. I feel like you understand why they've moved the way that they have. I feel like you've understood why, you know, certain things have happened. You didn't see that light in yourself, how would you see it in me? You didn't trust yourself, how would you trust me? You didn't, you know, you were struggling and you were lashing out. I tried to help, but there was nothing else I could have done, and that was the path that you chose. I can't just keep taking on that. I need to transmute out of it and just hold my own frequency. And I feel like that's something you've learned, to bring in, you know, a new paradigm. I feel like that's what you've done, maybe in your family line. That could be in your family line, but I feel like there's people you've had to let go of that you really wanted to bring with you. And I feel like you might have learned the wounded healer trope, like you would have had to learn the empath story of having to put boundaries in and pouring into yourself first. And if people aren't choosing to do that, having to keep going regardless. I feel like that's something that you've had to learn, because I feel like you were at the ground for a long time trying to help, and I feel like it was just hitting you in the face almost. It was just being thrown back in your face, and I feel like you've had to learn and grow from there. Yeah, I don't know why I'm being shown Cinderella. She has like a quote, and it's like, if anything, be kind, or something like that. It's something about being kind. Cinderella has a quote about that, and I'm hearing it in my I'm hearing it clairaudiently. I'm hearing it in my head. Pile number 4. And we have the present as your frequency card. So this is the frequency that you chose to incarnate with, and it says gift, treasure, revelation of own value and nowness. What was I saying about own value? I feel like people in the past, they might not have been able to love the way that you've loved, or they've not been able to tap into your needs and the needs that you've genuinely needed. And I feel like you've taken that at times on as like, well, I'm not worthy, I wasn't worthy, you know. And I feel like that's something you've had to transmute out of. I feel like your heart has kind of brought you on a bit of a coming home journey where you've stepped back into your own power, and I feel like that's helped the shell, you know, grow and create those boundaries. And also I feel like it's giving you a focus, because I'm hearing Lotus by Janae Aiko, and she sings there was a woman who came from a lotus, and then she basically says that this guy came and broke it until it was open, and then she says she found her focus. I remember she says that. So I feel like you've had to learn, it's almost like I'm giving direction to my heart and where my heart needs to go, and how I need to bring that frequency into earth. I feel like you've had to really root in and find your focus of where that needs to go. I feel like maybe in earlier life, that frequency, it was like, I love everyone, you know what I mean? I want to pour that energy into everyone. I feel like you might have drawn in some broken birds that you might have had to learn to build those boundaries and kind of energetically go where you're called then in terms of your career path. Because I see some of you guys being in the caring profession. I see some of you guys being in, I don't know why I see some of you guys working with children. I keep hearing nursing. And then some of you guys also could work with spirit as well. But that's what I'm being shown. I feel like it's so simple. If we were just to take all of those words and put it simply, right at the beginning I mentioned that picture I have on my Instagram of Kendrick Lamar. We're put on this earth to love, and that's what you're put on this earth to do. Love. If I had to put it in an easy word, you know, just to simplify it. And right in the top right hand corner, I'm like looking directly to it's Daisy Love. So yeah, I'll leave that reading there. So I hope you guys enjoyed your reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment on below if you did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching. And hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching.